Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is time again where we do some spectating solos. It is now the update on Season 3 Reloaded for Caldera. There's a lot of changes, so we're going to look at spectating some solos, seeing how people are playing now after the changes, and seeing what we can learn from that, and hopefully walk away with some nuggets of wisdom here. I am going to be dropping in and letting gravity do its work, and then we will get on the spectating thing. If you are new to the channel, thank you for being here. Welcome. Thank you for watching. And leave a comment. Say hello. Let me get to know y'all. We stream 7 days a week, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Playing the games, doing the things, living the life. And, you know, let's get into it. Smash. The gulag did not change this time around on Season 3 Reloaded, so we're stuck with this thing still. So whether you love or hate it, I'm particularly not terribly much of a fan of it. Too many areas to hide in different corners. I'm sure if you've played this game more than once, you already have seen multiple places to hide in this gulag. The gulag weapons have changed a little bit. That's nice. I do enjoy that. The MG42 isn't nearly as bad as it used to be. Okay. Let's see what Aim for the Bushes has for us. They did recently drop the player count for Battle Royale, for the standard Battle Royale mode, down to only 120 players. So we will not have 150 to watch anymore, but we'll have 120 to watch now. They did this with the belief that the added new mechanics for Season 3.5 or Season 3 Reloaded was going to draw out the game, as they have now added 2 new tokens specifically that get you additional chances at the gulag, or a complete skip of the gulag if you happen to get it. There is a gulag token, which will get you another attempt. And then if you get a gulag extraction token, you actually, if you are killed in action, you'll come back instantly, right back into the game. No waiting, no fuss, no muss, no nothing. Straight back into the game. If you haven't used your gulag yet, you'll actually get to go to the gulag immediately after that one if you end up dying again. Or if you find another token, rinse and repeat until you have no more tokens and no more gulag attempts. I do think that's a good way to keep the game churning and allow players more chances to get back into the game if they, say, are playing with randoms and they can't trust that the player's going to bring them back, or if they are playing with friends that happen to disappear or not have money, or maybe they get killed in action as well. Things like that. Solid options to get people back into the game. Make people, I think, less likely to leave after their first death or after their first gulag loss. So it's a good change. They did change up the ground loot as well. You're going to see a few different things like the H4 Blixen right there, which in your loadout, you're going to recognize it being called as the Carl Gustav M45. Because Call of Duty can decide between 2 different names, and so now we have both of them, I guess. So it's a Blitzen when it's on the ground, it's a Gustav when it's in your loadout, and it's a Blitzen if you're in Vanguard, and never a Gustav in Vanguard. It's a mess. I really don't know what they were thinking there. But nevertheless, here we are. We have Aim for the Bushes landing back in, grabbing himself a scavenger, and looking to, I guess, complete that. Loadout is down. A couple of seasons back, they added the first circle drop on the loadout. Still not a particular fan of that, as I think that it's too early and it removes the requirement of any skill of the guns that you find. But obviously, let me know how you feel about it. Do you like the early loadout drops, or do you think that they become a little bit more of a campy target? I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. Obviously, I have my own opinions, and I don't ever think that my opinions are the only right answer. But I do know that you all sometimes agree, sometimes don't. We'll see. I like hearing y'all's opinions, honestly. It makes me have to think about the game in a different way. Aim for the Bushes is down. Because most likely he grabbed a sniper rifle off his loadout and he sat there and waited for him to run over to the thing. Because early loadouts do that. The AX50 is currently glitched. I don't know if that's what he had. It looked like he had a ZRG in the all-white camo. I don't know, though. I could only see the all-white camo. That might have been an all-white AX50. I'm sure we'll see here in a second when he swaps off the Milano. Milano was recently nerfed in this last patch, but it's still going. They did drop the speed tokens, which is what you actually just saw him pick up there. He's buying a UAV. Good usage of the money that he's pulled off of it. And they've had a new redo of the UI, which you'll see in the bottom left corner, with the self-revive, and shows he still has a gulag left, which means our friend here, if Pestilent was to go down, he would still have the gulag, and he would still have a self-res. It's super useful for being able to see what's on your team, especially if you have non-communication teams, and you're looking for just information that you can't get from... Okay, so yeah, he had all-white camo ZRG. I get pretty good at recognizing these things over range. Also, you saw up on the mini-map there was a blurry section on that. That is actually the new equipment that goes down on the ground. It is a radar jammer. It will prevent all kill streaks from being called in the area, and it will scramble your mini-map if you're within the area of that as well. So you have to be careful on that, as that is a new mechanic that can really change up in-game. Whether or not people will actually utilize it frequently, I don't know, but it definitely has the room to disrupt some in-game strategies. So keep in mind that is a possibility. Once it's put down, I have actually not seen one live on the ground, so I don't understand if it's gonna be easy to notice or not yet. And I think that we'll just see that as the game progresses. Most of us are not familiar with looking down to the ground to destroy equipment unless it's a trophy system, and most people just leave it sitting there. So this is going to be a new change to people having to pay attention to what's on the ground and whether or not they need to take it out. Most people, like I said, right there's actually one of the radar jammers that does take the placement of like an ammo crate or anything like that. He's dropping it now. It's very small. It's kind of bland. So I don't think a lot of people are actually going to see it. Do be careful, though. The radar jammer, when you put it on the ground, will alert enemies that you are nearby, because that part of the map will be scrambled for them. So they'll know that somebody has recently put one of those down in there. So you can actually have that as a giveaway of where you're at. So be careful and think ahead about when you drop the radar jammer. Use it as a preventative measure and not as a wasted measure, you know? It's unlike a trophy system where you just throw it down and someone has to be close enough to hear it. The radar jammer can be seen on the map from as long as your mini map is wide. So it can really pull people into the area to you. It can be used as a distraction, as you can use it to like lead people into an area to ambush them. Consider multiple different ways that you can utilize this new tactical device, and you might have some fun tricks with that one. As I was mentioning before, currently the AX50 is bugged. That is of, let's see, January, February, March, April, May. So it's May 26th right now. The AX50 is still bugged where it is currently hit scan up to 400 meters. If you're not familiar with the term hit scan, that means that there is no bullet travel time. Old Call of Duty titles were always hit scan. Old Battlefield titles started introducing bullet physics. And it wasn't really until, I think, Modern Warfare and Warzone that Call of Duty actually started introducing bullet physics, meaning that there was leading that you had to do for like long shots, bullet drop, bullet velocity, and things like that. Well, unfortunately enough, the AX50 came out from this patch with some adjustments because they wanted to go through and nerf more sniper rifles, because we can't have any fun as snipers in this game. Which, again, good and bad depending on how you look at it. But then they accidentally removed all bullet velocity and made the gun hit scan. So I think we're currently in a worse position than we were. Even before they nerfed all the sniper rifles like the Swiss, at least then they had bullet velocity. If you're actually a longtime player of Warzone, you remember the SBR had a bullet velocity issue when it first came out, where it was also hit scan. So we're back to that. It's a recurring bugs. I don't know who had that one on their bingo card for Warzone season 3.5, but there you go, recurring bugs. Pestilence had somebody moving around right beside him. Sounds like the person might be ghosted because he did not show up on that heartbeat sensor. I could have swore I just heard footsteps through it. There was a pass on the audio. Whether or not it's actually pretty good right now, I don't know. It's currently Circle 2, and there's only 29 players left. So I'm guessing the reduction of 30 players from the map was probably not a good idea. It looks like solos are still seeing significantly less players. Normally we would have what on circle 2, I would say somewhere between 45 and 50. Sitting at 30 currently either is a high skill lobby or a hacker or the adjustment changes that we have been dealing with on player count. Pestilence is currently moved to the edge of the circle using the balloons to reposition to get himself a little bit further. He has positioned himself on the south side of, or on the north side of Peak. This is a beach and runway end. So he's going to have to keep moving, honestly. He can stay here and try to hold people out, but unfortunately, if we haven't seen a lot of people, there is one parachuting in front of him. Will he utilize the ZRG? I was gonna say that guy looked like he was falling like a rock. Oh, there's 2 of them. So we have a slow speed chase with Pestilence on the watch, landing at the tents. One is inside the small square tent, and the other one's standing on top of it. I'm wondering if he's gonna wait. That box appears to be glitched. So watch out for that one. I wonder if he's gonna wait for the combat. Okay, so combat is finished. The guy got lasered through the tent. That means either the player has combat scout, lucky shots, or more information than we did. There's a car rolling up on the situation right now with, of course, the player in the tent. There's a rose sitting at the car. The rose skin was recently nerfed by 70%, or becoming 70% brighter, but unfortunately enough, like I've said multiple times on stream, the issue with the rose skin isn't specifically the brightness or the darkness of the skin, as there are a lot of skins that are either bright or dark. But it's more with the monotone visual of the skin. It does look like the adjustment was better done this time around, because I can still see the solid black bands for the rose skin, but the light gray sections for the outer section, it looks to be a better adjustment. I do think they did a good job on that one, but we'll continue to see how that plays out. Yeah, because the rose is definitely much more two-tone than it normally is. Stems were recently nerfed on this last patch. It seems like I'm going to be utilizing a lot of this breakdown here for a lot of the changes for Season 3 as we kind of look and see what this person's doing here. Good positioning, staying a little bit further back, trying to third-party this. Unfortunately enough, his shots weren't connecting enough. He did see the head of the player right there in front of him. He is currently moving around with this ZRG out. Whenever you're attempting to reposition, always swap over to the weapon that you intend on using, that you can engage with the quickest. Running around specifically with a ZRG when you're not actively attempting to snipe somebody is generally going to end up getting you killed, as unless you're just an insane quickscoper, you're going to run into a lot more issues. The truck has third person, so the truck most likely did see him. We are still looking at moving over to zone where this person is not currently taking advantage of. Only 17 players left in Circle 3. That is problematic for mid to late game. I'm hoping that this is, again, just a high skill lobby and not a trend of where these lobbies are going. Again, in Season 3, the stems were nerfed. The nerf stems now no longer continue to regenerate health after you take damage. And it seems that the speed of the stems themselves are not nearly as fast as they were either, as I think it seems you lose momentum once you start getting hit. So stem slides and stem pushes are no longer going to be as effective, so do watch out for the return of restock stun, restock flash, restock snapshot as the primary choice of restock users. If you are a restock user and you're still currently attempting to use the stem shots, do be careful, as you will be at a significant disadvantage. Now, they can still be used to get you out of sticky situations by regenerating all your health if you can get to cover, but you are going to probably be better off still on utilizing Quick Fix, as Quick Fix is going to probably be a little bit more effective because it's going to start health regeneration instantly, and you're going to have a plate. With that being said, Quick Fix also now has a competitor for best slot 1 perk for the for loadouts now, as they just recently added Serpentine into the game. If you've played Vanguard, and I know not a lot of you have, because who did? Vanguard has a perk called Serpentine. Serpentine is a perk that reduces incoming damage while sprinting. They just added it to Warzone. It reduces incoming damage by 20% while sprinting, which means another nerf for snipers and another nerf for high damage rifles. I say specifically high damage rifles because they're going to, with a lower rate of fire and a higher damage, the 20% is going to be more significant and it's going to take longer to make up the difference. High rate of fire rifles such as the Cooper, Automaton, and kind of the KG are going to do really well with the Serpentine, as it's only going to add one bullet difference, but it's going to make a lot less of a... Oh, that person had an unfortunate time jumping out of that truck, catching the Milano to the chest. So the lower rate of fire guns are going to suffer a lot more against Serpentine because one bullet at a 500 RPM is significantly more of a damage loss than, you know, the 700, 800, 900 RPM guns that will put, you know, 3-4 bullets in to the time that a 500 one will put 2. So do be careful if you are a slow rate of fire using weapon user. Guns like the Odin, guns like the 50 cal bar, the 50 cal Bren, any of these marksman rifles or DMRs that are going to be slower firing are going to suffer a bit more. The heavy barrel SVT, as I don't think it should increase the number of bullets to kill. Whereas currently with the perfect build on the SVT, you can get a 3 bullet to kill at 40 meters. I think it might actually bump it to 4, maybe even 5 if they begin to plate. So it can be problematic. Do watch out for stem Serpentine users, as they are going to be very difficult to take down. You can see stem restock Serpentine as loadout builds, and it shouldn't be too terribly hard to build into that. And you do need to, like, again, be careful, as those are going to be difficult players to take down, especially if they realize how to properly abuse it. 10 players remaining at the 4th circle. Our player Pestilent did currently see a player parachute off the side of that. I don't know if they're going to attempt to take anything out of it, but they did see it. Milano and ZRG. Milano is still good for mid-range, but it did recently get nerfed, along with a lot of other weapons. One gun that actually is, I think, coming around from this patch that's going to be doing a lot better than it was is the bar. The bar recently had all of its magazines increased by 10 rounds, with the exception of the 40 round 50 cal, which now is up to 60 round, and the headshot damage is all the way up to 1.85, meaning I think that the bar is actually a serious contender for the meta gun right now. If you use the 8mm Clouser rounds with a recoil booster, you've got a really fast TTK weapon. Might be the new AR to take, and SCG is still really strong. This car is diving him. He does know where he's at, I'm guessing. Shotguns are returning. Shotguns are back. No AA support, as he comes in with a Jack 12 and an STG and diving with a vehicle. Unfortunately enough, that guy had nothing he could have done there except for maybe a lucky headshot with that ZRG. Vehicle diving shotguns are going to be, unfortunately enough, pretty frequent right now. As the player count dwindles, that means there's less people to catch you on rotations. The less people to catch you on rotations, the more room there is for vehicles to kind of roam freely and dive you. So that's kind of unfortunate, but it's how it works. Did that guy fall and break? The guy fell and broke his legs whenever he... I really don't understand what I think I just saw right there. I think they fell and broke their legs, but were they? That was odd. 7 players now as we go into Circle 4. Mentioning earlier about the Gulag return tokens. The Gulag return tokens only work as long as the Gulag is live. Obviously, Gulag is about to close. If someone has a Gulag return token, you'll actually receive a monetary return for having it and making it past the closing of the Gulag. So that's an additional way to make money. Also, money loss on death has actually been reduced. It used to be an 80% loss. It actually has been increased now to where it is only a 50% loss. So you actually have a significantly better time about regaming after a tragic team wipe in solos or all the way up into quads, as you'll be continuing to have 30% more of your money than you had previously, which is a pretty good deal. This person has grabbed additional perks. My guess is that he was just going in for his secondary perk slot that he was utilizing with the Jack 12. Still running Jack 12 SCG. SCG still one of the best guns in the game right now. He is taking a cluster strike in an aggressive position. He does need to be careful as that cluster strike is not 100% accurate, and he can end up having that on his head. He is making me nervous. Making me real nervous. Okay, he has made it into here. This is actually his wheelhouse right now, unless he almost completely chokes it. Shotguns, again, are really strong, but a lot of the shotguns actually received a significant damage reduction because of how frequently they were being used to dive and how much damage they just naturally do. Anyways, shotguns are really strong on anything that comes to close range engagements. I don't really think that needs much explanation, but here we are. Most recently, also with the patch notes, a lot of the ARs were adjusted. Some of the SMGs, the Owen is now no longer the king, as it received quite a few nerfs. If you're looking for a new SMG to run, I recommend checking out the Armor Guerrera, or probably the MP40. I think the MP40 is still maintained a pretty hefty hold, as it has a lot of very useful builds and really didn't suffer too much from any of the changes. There's 4 players left. We are watching one. We see one over on the on the B side that he was looking at right there. So that's 50% of the remaining lobby right now. Our player, no AA support, sitting on 8 kills, again with the STG and the Jack 12 here. We're looking for, he had 1 box land in front of him, most likely came from the player on the boat. So he should know right now. Oh, he does see, there's one player right there on his car. He does see him. Yep, mounted and drilling. He should have taken a little bit more time to make sure that the first shot would have been landed on the head, and he would have been significantly better off. Now he's unfortunately enough only an armor break rather than significant damage or a possible takedown on that one. He does have the boat. It's a pretty good position. It does give him high point on everything. Unfortunately enough, it also makes him a central focus point. So it means that despite having the better position, it also means that more people are likely to take shots at him. So it's a risk and reward situation here. He did take restock snapshot. He knows where that player is. He can still see them. This is again choosing not to take time before he starts taking his shots. That's the second time he's not finished that combat in his favor. That's actually super useful. He did walk away from that one. Again, risk versus reward. He brought a lot of attention to himself and got himself taken out. If he would have taken his time, he could have landed those shots and he would have been fine. He is now out of play. Let's see what our next player is. We've got Silent Ghost is the one that took him down, 3 kills. There is the MP40. This is the short build MP40. I still feel like the 317 right now is actually in a better place after the short's been nerfed a few different times. I think a little bit more damage over mid is really nice. And I don't know if the short is really right there. The 7.62 Gorinko is what he's using right now, is really useful. So I would recommend sticking with that one. That is a radar jammer popping up in the top, so he cannot have any airstrikes called in on him. Good use. I don't know how long they last. I think it's like a couple of minutes at most. So he should have probably waited just a little bit longer, so that way he could have it in a closer circle. There are 3 players left. This one was another one that was further off to the right. There is still the one player that ran into the tunnels directly in front of Silent Ghost right here to his right. So he may actually be positioning himself with his back to this player. Yep, there he is. He grabs him. It is currently a 1v1 situation, sitting on 4 kills with Silent Ghost, STG, of course, STG, MP40. We had another... That looks like it might have been NZ on the ground right there. I do love the NZ. The NZ recently just got a buff, although I don't think it was significant enough to make it worth utilizing. It is at least a buff. That is sniper fire coming in. We do have a stem runner. SCG is going to have to try to come out to save him. I think that was gunfire from the bunker, but most likely not. It should be over near those boxes to his right and that tank. Oh, no, he sees him. Yep. Thermite, good hit. He does have Combat Scout, one of the strongest perks in the game, because information is power, and if you can see your enemy through everything, there's a good chance you can hit him. This guy did lose circle position, though, which is unfortunate. and he has a really oddly built SCG skin set. I know I'm just judging here because of how it looks, but that is a sniper shot, and that wins. There's no way that this guy gets up and survives it before it's over. Yeah. I don't know what sniper he had, but he finished it with a well gun. Finished it with a well gun. Okay, well, there you go. Thank you guys so much for hanging out and watching. I do appreciate y'all. We stream, like I said, 7 days a week, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We also do member games every Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you become a member at the Pyromaniac level or higher, you're more than welcome to join us for some member games. You can come watch anyways, even if you're not, but specifically to join, we have the member games, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Pyromaniacs. Thank y'all so much for checking it out. Let me know what you like, what you would like to see for more things. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else, peace.